Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, former Vice Presidents present, Honorable Cabinet Ministers, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, senior government and public officials, family, friends, relatives and associates of Vice President of the Gambia, Badara Joof, members of the diplomatic and consular corps, regional governors, mayors, chairpersons of the local councils, other dignitaries present, ladies and gentlemen. This is a solemn day in the annals of Gambian history, triggered by the untimely passing on of the country's sitting Vice President, His Excellency Badara Joof. As the whole nation mourns, it is with a great sense of loss and a very heavy heart that I deliver this tribute in remembrance and praise of a close colleague, friend and brother, who sadly worked as my Vice President for less than a full year when he succumbed to a brief illness. He rise to the position of Vice President was occasioned by the integrity, competence, and industry he outstandingly displayed during the 5-year transition period. He served as Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science, and Technology in my government from 2017 to 2021. Honorable Badara Joof will be remembered in multiple ways. Among other reasons, owing to the uncountable lives he touched, the various institutions he influenced or served in, his most multifaceted character and talent, and the numerous roles he played during his 66-year lifespan. Badara was without question a formidable statesman, a scholar par excellence, a talented administrator, and a naturally gifted leader of a rare courage and integrity. He was a compassionate husband, loving father, a trusted friend, and a colleague of many shades. His experience, spanning from the First and Second Republic to the new democratic dispensation under my leadership, makes him one of the truly exceptional and accomplished Gambian citizens. Vice President Joof had the fortunate privilege of serving the country in various capacities. During his career in public service, he climbed from the lowest rank of the public administration cadres as Assistant Secretary to the top as Permanent Secretary in several government ministries. These included the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, Youth and Sports, and of Local Government, Lands, and Regional Administration. Along the way, he initiated decisive government policies and programs. As Permanent Secretary, for instance, he led the midterm review of the Gambia's 15-year education policy, 1988 to 2003. which significantly changed the education landscape in the country. And he boldly masterminded the famous local government decentralization policy. As a cabinet minister, Honorable Joof worked like a real professional to oversee the development of the tertiary and higher education policy, the review of the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority Act, and the formulation of the current national research policy. He also passionately championed the transformation of the Gambia Technical Training Institute into the emerging University of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, and the Gambia College into a degree awarding institution. Badara Joof was among the highly reputable brains of the Gambia. Outside government, he worked for the World Bank as an education specialist for over a decade, before his appointment as minister in 2017. He was a World Bank Regional Director for West and Central Africa. Those who know his professional career very well will readily confirm that Badara Joof was an intelligent and meticulous administrator and diplomat who was firm but flexible, lovable and warm. He had a sharp sense of humor that he often displayed and blended with witty remarks, which made his company delightful. He was honest and blunt in his own words. He enjoyed telling the truth with the belief that telling the truth was the right thing to do and the best way to put things together. In one of his speeches, when he said he did not mind losing his job for telling the truth, he was merely emphasizing this principle. But I was indeed a principled gentleman and could never walk out of any job, nor betray the confidence I repose in him. He had a taste for quotations and was renowned for his eloquence and proficiency in English, a subject he taught at Nusrat Senior Secondary School in the 1980s. The Gambia has certainly lost an illustrious son as a national asset and a pillar in cabinet who contributed constructively to cabinet proceedings. He was dependable and generously shared his knowledge, experience, and expertise. In truth, he selflessly devoted all his life to the service of this country and to humanity in various ways. Many Gambians look up to him as an icon, mentor, or role model, and he taught or influenced many people, most of whom subsequently rose to occupy very senior and notable positions of authority in the country. As our wise elders would say, a gigantic tree has fallen, and many birds will now find elsewhere to rest. May his memory be a source of blessing, strength, and inspiration for the entire nation, including his dear ones, associates, and friends. I pray that Allah blesses his family and gives us the fortitude and wisdom to complete the work we started together, and admit him to a lofty position in paradise, among the most honored servants of Allah. In recognition and appreciation of the patriotic service he rendered to the nation, I hereby posthumously award His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, Dr. Badara Joof, the insignia of Master of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic of the Gambia, GCRG. With this, Honorable Joof, we bid you farewell with honor. You have departed prematurely, but honorably. Seriously and committedly, we began the march towards 2026 together, unaware that this calamity closely lay ahead. We will continue the march to accomplish our pledge to the nation. Parting is an inevitable aspect of life. So we must part someday. On behalf of the government and the people of the Gambia, I assure you, Vice President Joof, that your noble footprints are visibly marked on this land already, which history will preserve forever. Fare thee well and remain in Allah's mercy. When we lay you to rest, we ask that the angels, the gentle angels of the Lord, receive you most kindly. Adieu, my Honorable Vice President. You carry with you the love, admiration, respect, prayers, and well wishes of the people you sought to serve with frankness and devoted sincerity. Farewell and rest in peace in the higher stations of Jannatul Firdaus. We ask this in the name of the most beneficent and most merciful Allah. Amen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I, Adam Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia and Grand Master of the National Order, here confer on His Excellency, Mr. Badara Joof, the signature of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Republic of the Gambia, GCRG posthumous. Thank you.
almami mum mo hoddi toon to Banjul ndin imam Yaya Ba o settima no woneno Aliou Badara Joof ko neɗɗo koɗo yiɗo walla o liggoyima o wiyete woni neɗɗo jiɗɗo hoddiɓe mum ko ballannoɗo mi o hoddi temo tinni ɓeygu mum ngu wajiraɓe mum ne hewɓe ɓe kaali ɗo ko abbiti jikkuji mum moƴƴi nden noon debbo moɗon
some more speakers, if I'm right. Did the president speak? He did.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did. We were told that after here, the ceremony will go straight to Banjul, and that is the residence of His Excellency the Vice President Badara Joof. Tijan, you have heard the eulogies. I listened up to a point, and I am really touched by the testimony from the daughter Adam, I think is the name. She made particular reference to the unbending virtues of the Honorable Badara Joof and how he mentored, tutored, and modeled them, both herself and her sisters and brothers. That was very, very, very touching. And she also encouraged and inspired her mother to be well, we have to go back to the chambers, I think.
With your permission.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, the House of Assembly, Babakar Kamonjar.
The President of the Republic, for us all to stand while the remains of the former Vice President is being lifted and escorted by the funeral party of the Gambia Armed Forces to the Banjulundi Mosque. Your Excellency.
His Excellency the President, Honorable National Assembly members and invited guests to stand while the remains of the former Vice President is being lifted and escorted by the funeral party of the Gambia Armed Forces to the Banjulundi Mosque. So now that is the funeral party.
Stand where you are and let the army come into the chambers to pick the coffin to be transported to Banjulundi, where the burial will take place. And so we have come to the end of the official, state funeral in this National Assembly. It was just announced that the army now will come in and take the dead body, or rather the coffin, and head straight to the Banjulundi Mosque. Which means, of course, that the whole big crowd, well, that those who can make it possible will have to go to Banjulundi, where we are told that people have already started gathering, waiting for the burial rites to be observed. Well, this has been a touching, solemn, and very emotional ceremony. I was going through the speech, or reflecting on the speech of the daughter. There was Alpha Akan also, veteran educationist who spoke on behalf of the family. And he dealt very much about the qualities of the former Vice President, about the times they spent together, about what he meant for the family and the nation. There was a neighbor who happened to be an imam too, who spoke and gave a moving testimony of the late Vice President's religious credentials, saying he hardly missed prayers at the mosque. And he said he was also too modest. He had him say to his security many times that, look, don't bother, I am saved here. Which goes to tell how humble the Badara was. And he also talked about how he used to be involved in the neighborhood, in helping the needy. He said Badara would look for the most needy person to help. And he knew, this witness said he knew of many families and many people that until today we have been helped by Badara to make ends meet. So that was his generosity. All the speakers talk about his diligence, generosity, and his quality of human. Yeah.
Great qualities, Lamin and Bua, of course. I honestly think after listening to the eulogies that were delivered here, and very nicely, like you said, some of them emotional. The daughter, the Minister of Justice, Dauda Jallow, who broke down during his speech, Alpha Khan, Madi Sise, it was all a home run. We'll say in the U.S., a home run. They talked about the virtues in the man. They talked about him caring for the least fortunate. A man that personified grit, decency, self-respect, integrity, genuinity, and all the good qualities you look for in a human being. I was particularly moved by a story that I read not too long ago when they started the battle-hardened highway.
Tijan, we have signals that speak has started.
Honorable members and invited guests, you can remain seated while we allow His Excellency, the President of the Republic, to exit the chambers. Your Excellency.
Yes, you were, Tijan, we continue, you were talking about...
Yeah, a particular story